This is another police case that wasn't dealt with justice, and we are here to voice it out. Wade was reported missing by the mother, who was in constant communication with the police for, 5 to 7 months. But later, the police reported to have confessed to have killed, buried, without the mother's consent. So they kept quiet, knowing what they had done to the son. So listen to this.
All right, everyone, it's been a little while, but I got a doozy here today. Welcome back to what is the largest criminal organization known in America. It's called the police, because we all know it's the fucking police, because they're a bunch of murdering thugs and dumb fucks. And here we go today. Listen to this one, folks. This is out of Mississippi. This is the good old boy down in Mississippi there. Yeah, we got the good old boy cop down there in Mississippi. Yeah. So a middle-aged black guy leaves his house. No problem. He's not committing any crimes. He's not doing anything wrong. He goes missing. So what does his mom do? His mom reports him missing. This happened back in March. My son's missing. Police, what's going on? Why is my son missing? Can you please try to help find my son? Please, we'll get right on that, ma'am. We will get right on that. Yes, your son is missing. We'll get right on that. Well, months and months and months go by, and we don't know what's wrong. We don't know what happened to your son, man. We have no idea. Shh. They did. They knew exactly what happened to our son because they're the fuckers who killed him. They're the motherfuckers who killed him. That's right. Less than an hour after leaving his house, he is hit by a police car and killed. And they never told his parents. They never told his mother. They never told anyone. They didn't tell anybody. They covered it all up, and they buried him back in an unmarked grave. And there he was for months and months and months until the police finally confessed that they killed him, and they buried him without telling a soul, without telling anybody. The cops hit him with a car, killed him, covered it all up, and then buried him in an unmarked grave out in the middle of nowhere, in the woods, and finally told his mom just the other day. That's right. The cops killed this guy, hit and killed him, hit and run, if you want to call it that. What would happen if we hit a cop and killed a cop and just buried him in some woods somewhere? Tell me, come on, bootlickers. Come on, bootlickers. Come on, cops are the greatest thing ever. Let me hear that one. If I hit a cop, run him over and hit him, and kill him, and go bury him in the woods somewhere and not tell anybody, what would happen to me? What would happen to me? Well, guess what? Nothing's going to happen to the damn cops, because they're going to investigate themselves, of course, or they have already cleared themselves of all wrongdoing, because the cops get to just, we're accused of something? Well, let's figure this out. Let's see if we did anything wrong. We've looked at the facts. Oh, fuck the facts. We don't look at anything. No, we didn't do anything wrong. We don't give a shit. That's right. This cops killed this dude, didn't tell his mom, and covered it up and buried his body out in the woods somewhere. And finally, after 6-7 months, finally confessed and said, yeah, your son's out here buried somewhere. Yeah, we'll take you to where he's buried. He's out in the woods. We just buried him out there. Yeah, that's what happened. It's happening down Mississippi. And yes, he was a black guy. Of course he was a black guy. You damn well know it was a black guy. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't give a shit. They don't give a shit. That's fucking cops for you. Yep. Fucking cops, bucks. They're all fucking terrible. Every last damn motherfucker.
Hope you heard what is just said. Why is it that all the time that injustice is being reported, it has to be among the black people? So he better be black, you get? So this is how black people are being dealt with. Anyway. Share this so that justice can be done. Let's listen to his life story. Let's listen to what the mother has to say about it.
That all this went down was living with his mom because he had fallen on some hard times after some legal troubles. I'll tell you about that. But he left on March 5th, his mom's house, to go spend some time with a friend. And she expected him to come back either that night or like the next night, but she never heard from him again. Now, according to Miss Wade, Dexter was always a sweet little boy. He was really good with computers. He was a leader amongst his classmates, and he actually dreamed of one day owning his own business, refurbishing old cars. Now, Miss Wade was a single mother of 3 who worked nights. So she did the best that she could, but admittedly, sometimes she wasn't there for Dexter. So she said that during his teenage years, he got lost in the streets. He started hanging out with older males who were not so good role models for him, and he started getting into stealing cars and taking drugs. But despite all of his troubles, and he would go in and out of jail, and when he did, he would always come out and he would always come home. But either way, whether he was in the streets or not, she said he always came home. She always knew where he was. So when he went missing on March 5th, that was a problem for her. That was unlike him. And so she was immediately alarmed. On March 14th, when she still had not heard from Dexter, she made the decision to go ahead and contact the Jackson Police Department. Now, this decision didn't come easy to her because her family has bad blood with that police department. In 2019, an officer who was employed by them at the time body slammed her 62-year-old brother and he died. That officer was subsequently convicted of manslaughter. But at this point, she was desperate, so she called him anyways. An investigator came out to the house, took her statement, took a picture of Dexter, and then left her a card with her case number on it and promised to follow up if they found anything. Now, in the days, weeks, and months, because yes, it was months, since his disappearance, Miss Wade stayed in constant contact with the police. She would call them all the time. She would ask them if they would put his picture on the news. She asked if anybody had called in saying they saw him, any reported sightings at all. Every time she would get hit with no new information. They weren't able to find him. They don't have any updates for her. So at the same time, she would be posting on Facebook her phone number, messages saying please call his mother if you see him. She would post pictures like this right here and tell him your daughters miss you, your family misses you, please let us know you're okay, stuff like that. And she still radio silence. The police told her nothing. They gave her nothing. They didn't help at all with his whereabouts. 172 days later, she was finally able to find out what happened to Dexter. She learned that within the hour of him leaving her house on March 5th, he was struck by a police officer when he was trying to cross a highway, and he died. But catch this, the police had his name, his identity, and her contact information the entire time, and did not notify her of his death. Did not tell her anything when she called. Instead, they let his body stay unclaimed so long at the morgue that they had to bury him where they buried all the rest of the unclaimed bodies. So all the John and Jane Does of Jackson, Mississippi, right there, that's where they buried them. And that's where he was buried. And this man had a whole family, y'all. His mom's contact information was all over Facebook. This lady called them multiple times over those months, and nobody told her, not a single time, that this man had been hit, was no longer here, and had been buried. Once she was finally able to find out where her son was and what happened to him, she was able to get enough information to put the pieces of the puzzle together to get a more accurate picture. And she was able to learn that on March 5th, her son was trying to cross a highway and he was struck by a corporal driving a police car. The corporal immediately notified the police of the collision, yet he was not checked for being under the influence. He was not cited for any traffic infractions, and he also left the accident uninjured. Dexter, on the other hand, was injured. He suffered severe head trauma and succumbed to his injuries. His death was ultimately ruled an accident. When Dexter died, he didn't have any identification on him, but he did have a prescription bottle in his pocket that had his name on it. So the investigator with the coroner's office that was assigned to this case was able to contact the doctor and confirm Dexter's mom's information, her address, her phone number. He was also able to confirm Dexter's information. Dexter's identity was also confirmed through his fingerprints. All of this information was turned over to the Jackson Police Department for a proper death notification to be done. Well, that investigator followed up for days, probably weeks, to make sure that they had done the notification. And each time he followed up, he was told that no next of kin had been located and that there was no updates to the request that a death notification be done. At the same time, Mom, Miss Wade, is still posting on Facebook with her phone number, still posting pictures like this of her son, still asking for people to give her some information or some answers on where her son is. In August, a new detective was assigned to her case with the Jackson Police Department, and that detective notified her that she was newly assigned to the case and she would let her know as soon as she found some information on her son. Well, within 2 weeks, that detective contacted Miss Wade and told her that she knew where her son was and ultimately let her know what happened to him. And that's how she was able to find out. Now, to add insult to injury, Miss Wade had to pay $250 to the coroner's office to claim her son's body and to find out exactly which number was his. As far as we know, the case is closed and there will be no further investigation. But Ms. Wade is now curious as to whether or not the officers didn't notify her of her son's death and the fact that he was struck because of the situation with her brother and holding on to resentment and
Even though it
grudges
took
from
me
that.
to wake up in the middle of the night to share this, I just want to tell you that sharing it is free. So just click that share button and also keep up with my videos. Let justice be done. We're here to live a comfortable life, and we cannot be comfortable unless we address the things that are making us uncomfortable. Let's make the world a good place to live, because that's what it's meant to be. This injustice needs to stop.